What's up, guys? I'm Crystal Lee Naomi, aka Jasmine Borders on Tyler Perry's Sisters. Be sure to subscribe to the Haves and the Have-Nots review for not only reviews on the Haves and the Have-Nots, but also on Sisters. And while you're at it, give your girl a follow on Instagram at Crystal Lee Naomi. And I'll see you every Wednesday at 9, only on BET.
All right, Sistas fans, hope everyone's doing well. We're talking Season 3, Episode 3, entitled The Gift of Goodbye. I know we're only 3 episodes in, so the bar hasn't been set too high to jump over, but it's debatable if I feel like this or Episode 1 was the best episode of Season 3 so far, but I would probably say it's neck and neck, so I'm going to give this episode, and it did have its issues, an 8 out of 10, because I did enjoy it from start to finish. I feel because last week was just so bad, it made this week so much better. I mean, to be completely honest, Have and Have-Nots, way better than it was last week. Sisters, way better than way better than it was last week. So we're continuing on the train of improvement. So before moving forward, please take a moment to hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So I got about 2.5 pages of notes. So let's jump into this thing. All right. So Zack succeeds with getting the laptop for the woman. And, pretty much goes into how, hey, I had to stop the plane. It was taking off, but, I did what I had to do. He had his hand out, and she was like, wait, you want a tip? Oh, no, I didn't want a tip or anything. And then basically she's kind of searching around because she doesn't have any money, but she does have a card with some information on it saying, hey, go ahead and put as much money as you can on this particular stock because within the next 48 hours, it's going to be worth a lot. And Zack is unsure about the whole situation, but after a little bit of a back and forth, she's like, look on the other side of the card, call me, look me up, and I'll give you some information if you're still skeptical. So she goes off about her day. Danny rolls up at the last moment when Zack's about to get into his cart saying, what, you mess around with cougars now? It's like, no, they ain't even like that. I'm just doing my job. And the thing is, I really like this scene. It was short, sweet, to the point. Everybody was within character. Zack being skeptical or something along these lines. Danny seeing what's all up in Zack's business. But I'm glad it didn't drag on too long. It was just the right amount we needed to get the show rolling. We got the updated intro really growing on me. And we go from there. So Maurice is on a break, and he wants to talk with Sabrina in her office about Calvin's account. Because remember, the situation where Calvin's account has been, drained completely dry because that one guy who was in his room that night stole his checkbook, been going around town, writing checks that are now bouncing. So, Maurice actually sent an email and she said she'll get to it. So remember, at this point, Sabrina's just hiding away in her office. The blinds are shut, the door is closed, and she's not opening up for anyone. So Jacoby goes over there as well because, he has a reason. I don't want to say excuse because I don't know, but basically he has some paperwork saying, he needed some help. He knocks on the door. He goes in saying, hey, it's work related. Don't worry about it. But then he talks about how, why you're acting so cold right now. Didn't you like it? Didn't you enjoy things last night? I mean, you're the one who called me. So while, she's saying, yeah, I enjoyed it. So they're trying to move past it. And he asked for help with an account because he needed just a little bit of, assistance. And she pretty much, got into, Veronica's the ice queen. But you got to admit, Sabrina was pretty cold in this episode to everybody. Sabrina said, hey, you sit over there. So pretty much there was some information. I believe that, Jacoby handed her the file. And after she said, no, you sit across from me. You don't sit beside me. And, after she looked over everything and gave back the paperwork, Jacoby was like, so what did I do wrong? Go figure it out. And for whatever reason, he's still in the office later on in the episode. But trust and believe, just a couple of scenes and we'll get back to that. So they'll try to keep it professional. So Fatima gets a call from Gary, and she's trying to pass it all. Oh, you're trying to talk with Andy? No, I'm trying to talk to you. Did she mention anything about a photo shoot? No. Well, hey, there's a photo shoot. Come along, please, if you're able to. Maybe even if she asks you about it, say that you'll come. It's a surprise. She gets off the phone with him, and just like the ladies were at the end of last week's episode, she's skeptical about what's going down. So Fatima actually goes over to Andy saying, hey, I have the number to a police officer that you need to file a report to, because remember, Gary in the last episode said, hey, after work, you need to file a report to the police department about the Jasmine situation last night, and then could you come over to the photo shoot? And from there, Fatima is concerned. She's like, hey, is there anything you want to talk about? I was like, no, I don't. So basically, again, Andy isn't telling, her friends about what's going on in her life. So the whole Jasmine thing is going to be swept under the rug. And it's kind of interesting because Andy, I've said this before, even going back to last season, like when Miss Irene and Fatima, when these, not just her girls, but these other good-natured women or people in general in her life will give her sage advice, but she won't take it because it's not what she wants to hear. Fatima, being rightfully concerned, is trying to not insert herself in Andy's life, but she knows Andy well enough to know when something isn't right. And remember, this is the woman who stuck up for you with a gun to get these girls from beating your ass. So given the fact that there's a police report that needs to be filed, Fatima kind of has the right to say, hey, is there something going on? You need to just talk about it. But Andy pretty much, without being super rude, but she just says, no, I don't want to talk about it. Kind of brushes Fatima's concerns aside because of the fact that, and I quote, she doesn't want Fatima, you sound like, my friend. She basically doesn't want Fatima to sound like one of her girls. So essentially, it's almost as if Andy she just wants friends, but within her control. Basically, I want people to hang out with, but not those who are going to try to tell me how to live my life, or those who want to see what, they want what's best for me and this and that. So essentially, she just wants a bunch of not yes men, but yes women. That's essentially what's going on here. So from there, it's brought up about the whole photo shoot situation, and Fatima's a bit hesitant. And while Andy thought it had some about Fatima not thinking she could be a model, and let's be real here, KJ Smith, holy crap. But no, it's what she was afraid Fatima would say, being uncertain about Gary's intentions, his motives. I mean, has Gary ever done anything like this before? And it's like, I feel like Andy sees all of this bullshit. She just chooses to ignore it. It's like she doesn't question, a photo shoot? Last minute? I'm not even a professional. Gary was a popular, or is still a popular athlete with connections, and you're telling me that just because one particular model backed out, they didn't have any standbys? What's going on here? No, she just wants people to be happy for her. Girl, can't you be happy for me? Yeah, I'm happy with you, dumbass. What'd you say? Oh, no, I'm happy. Go to that photo shoot. Of course, that's not how the conversation went, but, in my mind, that's what I was thinking. So pretty much Fatima, thinking back to what Gary said, says, hey, let me come be your assistant. Well, what, you know about modeling and all? Well, yeah, I used to sell clothing and whatnot. I used to be, kind of a stylist back in college and whatnot, which is a nod to real life, because the actress portraying Fatima, I didn't even know this until she did a live stream with Veronica from the Haves and the Have-Nots. She's been working for Tyler Perry for years as a stylist on various shows and movies, and the fact that she was like the top consultant on the Haves and the Have-Nots, so some of the most iconic looks for the characters, like Veronica, came from Miss Fatima, and I feel like that's insane. She's also been Tyler Perry stylist as well. So I love that little nod to kind of like a wink and a nod to breaking the fourth wall. I mean, in episode 1, Zack did the same thing where he talked about how he used to play ball. His actor used to play professional football. So I just love little moments like that. So they decided, we'll go to this photo shoot together after work. All right, so the next scene, this is a lengthy one about Calvin at the bank, and I have a lot to say. So first off, he rolls in there and he's like, look, I went to the ATM and it didn't work. Well, yeah, I told you. At first, I'm like, well, Calvin, Maurice called you. But to be fair, he's like, I didn't think you were serious about it. And I'm like, nowadays, do people not have an online banking app? I mean, I checked mine. I got BB&T. I got email alert, text notification. Anytime there's any kind of suspect activity, they'll hit me up immediately to let me know. And not to go too far off the trail here, but remember way back when Benny and Hannah's joint bank account had Candace's millions, the millions she extorted from Oscar's account that was Wyatt's inheritance. And remember how that was in their joint bank account, and then there was like a reverse wire transfer, and then it went back to Candace. And then when I think that Benny and Hannah went to the bank to sign the papers to transfer it to the Criers, they were told that there's like a negative, I forgot the amount. I forgot if it was like a negative few hundred or a negative few thousand. And there was nothing in the account. I think Benny's like, there's only like $114 between the two of us. But now there was this huge negative balance. And the thing is, it was like a couple of days in between the time the money was in there and the money was gone. And I'm like, you mean to tell me won't no kind of bank notification sent out? Because I remember back in the day, like, when my mom or even me and my sister, when we got our first bank accounts, like if we ever overdrafted or anything at Wachovia, remember when Wachovia was, Wachovia instead of Wells Fargo? And then that's when I switched over to BB&T. But it was like back then, they would let your ass know, like you could overdraft one day, pay off the overdraft fee, but then you'd still get that notice in the mail like less than 48 hours later. So again, Tyler Perry logic, people. It makes no sense, but it's here to stay. So he goes to the bank because, like he said, I really wish I can go to another. Can I go to another bank? Can I call somebody? Nope. Sabrina's like one of the best there is at when it comes to this situation, in terms of getting it done immediately as opposed to getting it done within a couple of days. And to be completely honest, if I were Calvin and I didn't need that money right away, and if I had some cash on me, I avoid going in the damn gas station, because if the pump says see the clerk, I will drive to another gas station. So I would not go to a damn bank to see the person that I just had a falling out with the day before, especially somebody who I had a romantic relationship with. Well, not even relationship, but connection to. So essentially from there, he notices the closed blinds, the closed door. Wait, you're out here by yourself. Is old boy up in there too? So Calvin just goes over there and bangs on the door. Sabrina, I need to talk to you. And it's like, what, is he in there too? What the hell's taking so long to open the door? I'm like, first of all, Calvin just rolled in there with the wrong demeanor. Trust him, Lee. I get being upset. As somebody who worked 3 years in customer service, I feel like I have a lot to say about this scene. So, Jacoby and Sabrina eventually come out of the office, and Calvin is just pissed the hell off. And Jacoby, I feel, is like the most innocent of the four on screen. Like, he even tells Calvin a couple times, anytime Calvin tries to make a jab at him, because you're thinking about him or with him, like, I ain't got nothing to do with this, bro. He was trying to like stay on the sidelines where he belongs. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with this situation. I'm just standing here minding my own business. Calvin was the one who initiated the aggressiveness. Now, the thing about it is, for as rude and aggressive as Calvin was, it's like Calvin rolled up in the bank the same way he rolled up into Sabrina's apartment the night before, where he just barged on in there and barked at Jacoby to leave. Just like he did in this episode, he barged into the bank like he owned the place, cursing at people to come out of the back because he needed help right away. And like, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but for as rude and aggressive as he was, Sabrina, on the other hand, was very dismissive, and I didn't like that. Like Maurice said, I can agree where people say that Maurice was messy because he was the one that got this situation started by having Calvin come down to the damn the bank to begin with instead of calling. But to be fair, it did seem like this was something that needed to be handled in person. But I've had fraudulent activity on my account maybe 2 or 3 times since I've had a bank account. And all it took was a couple of phone calls. And it was, well, kind of like what Maurice was saying. In order to have it resolved immediately, coming in person is the best bet. Where in my case, I made a couple of phone calls and it was resolved in a matter of days. So, yeah, I feel like, Maurice knew how sensitive the situation was. But he was more concerned about his half of the rent. And like Calvin said, look, I got your rent, but I need to get this money back as soon as possible. So basically, Sabrina rightfully says, okay, well, she does mention, oh yeah, I saw the email because, again, Maurice, like, I sent you an email, so yeah, shouldn't you know the situation? Oh yeah, I read it, but you need to have her police report. A police report, and trust Emily, I can understand Calvin's frustration because Imagine being told, hey, you need to come all the way down to this place of business to get this situation settled. You arrive. Essentially, it was the DMV, if you want to put it in perspective, because it feels like no matter what you give the DMV, they always want something else. So he comes all the way down there to resolve it, even though he didn't want to, and then he gets told by a manager of all things, oh yeah, well, you still need this in order for it to work. Why didn't Sabrina either A, respond back to Maurice's email, or stick her head out of the door and say, hey, tell Calvin that he needs to file a police report before coming down here? Or B, call Calvin from the bank phone, because I'm pretty sure he should still have her number blocked, or she should have his number blocked on her phone or whatever, because of the fact that this is a business matter, and she could remind him that, hey, this is a phone that everything is recorded. So I just wanted to let you know that I got the email from Maurice. I know about your situation. File a police report. Come down here and then we can resolve this. But no, she was petty as hell. I think she was petty as hell, because if she was truly a competent manager who wasn't allowing her feelings to get in the way of this business, she would have let somebody know, either Calvin directly or the agent that informed her of the situation, basically pass it along to him. Hey, Maurice, tell Calvin about the police report, because it would have been a completely different situation. But she just acted like she didn't even care. Well, she did bring up a point like, look, I almost got in big trouble helping Andy. Remember when she made that transfer with Gary's money, and then that whole situation where she almost lost her job at the beginning of season 2? So it's like, we need to follow protocol. And again, I understand that, but I just feel like the way Sabrina handled this situation was not a good look at all, because then Calvin, he started getting mad because like, oh yeah, I get it now. You just mad at me because, and it's like, well, yeah, I don't even know if what you're saying is true. And again, she's definitely using her personal business here, because even Calvin's like, oh, I get it, because you never believe anything I say. So when she starts to walk away, he's like, I need my money. He grabs her. That was a big mistake, because Jacoby swooped in, and I mean, it wasn't like I'm defending my woman. It's like, no. This is a place of business, and you're grabbing on my boss, and you're not supposed to do that. I mean, even Sabrina says a few times, like, look, this is a bank. Y'all need to chill. And I mean, Maurice on the sidelines as well, like, yo, your mom want to calm it down. This is a bank, a place of business. But no, Calvin shoved Jacoby first, and then he laid him out with that one punch. And I made a funny video this morning on social media with, we fall down, but we get up. That's why you need to follow me on social media. I posted on Twitter, Instagram, the Sistas Facebook group. It was just like the way Calvin spun around. Now, they in the show, they kept saying that it was Calvin that screamed when he got hit, but I could be wrong. But I could have sworn it was Maurice that screamed. I looked at that scene a bunch of times, and again, I could be in the wrong here, but I truly thought that it was Maurice screaming when Calvin got hit, because I'm thinking to myself, the way he got hit in the jaw, how the hell would Calvin be able to scream like that? Because I'm going to be honest here, I feel like Tyler Perry, when he films these fight scenes, they're not supposed to be serious. I feel like they're supposed to be taken for a joke more than anything else, because I'm like, either that or just it's terrible fight choreography. But in any case, he got hit, and this fool was spinning around like a rotisserie chicken, and then he fell on the ground. And then from there, Sabrina just gets pissed off and suspends Jacoby. Why? And again, I'm not saying I'm the biggest Jacoby supporter here, but I feel like he did nothing wrong. But he's the one suspended. Maurice, when he got upset, Maurice tried to step up to him like, oh yeah, he might have screamed like a bitch, but not this one. To be completely honest, I feel like Jacoby would probably win this fight. But remember, Alonzo got his ass beat, but to be fair, he was like drunk and high when, Maurice fought him, but I'm just saying. So in any case, Jacoby got up there and called out Sabrina for bull crap. So from there, I think even, well, actually, no, I'll say that for another scene. So Fatima is upset because there's a client, let me get the name, Victor. He's there to see Andy. He wants like a breakfast croissant and, coffee or whatever. And apparently he's freaking out because his wife might take everything and leave him with nothing. And then Fatima's like, well, yeah, what did he do? He just picked up balls at like a golf or tennis, court court, and I mean, that was his job. Apparently his wife was like the breadwinner, and then she went on. I mean, some people were commenting that Fatima was acting like season 1 Dan. It's like, I wish I would, if I were making all that money and they did nothing and we got a divorce and he tried to take everything from me. Isn't that kind of reverse sexism? Because don't women, like, anytime let's say a Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or whoever his name is behind Amazon, or one of these famous rappers or athletes, like whenever there's a divorce, the women are the first to say, that's right, that girl, that wife deserves to get everything, get half, at the minimum half, after all she did, even though they're not the one playing sports or making beats or out on making companies and whatnot. So it's kind of funny to see women act this way when a man wants a piece of the pie when they haven't really done anything, while the woman does a lot. I just noticed that. But in any case, I love how chill. Let me say, I did like Andy in this scene, as well as the following scene where she meets with her client, because aside from the first episode of the show and the brief scenes with Aaron and Fawn, we really haven't seen Andy doing her job, reminding us of why she's one hell of an attorney, lawyer. But then when you see scenes like this, it's just like, so you can see through people's bullshit and read people well, but yet you refuse to admit to yourself the bull crap, the facade that Gary's putting up. Okay. But in any case, Fatima eventually wants to be a lawyer herself, but she has to kind of let go of her judgmental stereotype attitude. She has to be more chill, like Andy. It's like, look, let him wait. Cause I love the fact that Andy was like, let him wait a few minutes, kind of burn off some steam, because if I go in there right now, he's just going to be swinging. But let me just let him cool off, and then I'll talk to him. So in any case, she even mentions, like, and don't worry about me. If I'm ever in a situation like that, I'm never going to let the coins get away. And I'm thinking to myself, that's foreshadowing, because Gary almost caused your ass to lose everything anyway. I know it's easy to forget, but remember that she got a huge settlement. I think it was like over $1 million lawsuit with the law firm, as well as this promotion. So Andy got some money, people. It's just that I feel like it's not really expressed much in the show because of how, well, dumb she's been acting. All right, so then we go over back to the bank. Calvin jumps back up, and I mean, I think Maurice goes like, and then he gets up. This fool look like he a break dancer. He almost falls again, then jumps up and starts, throwing fists like he's a boxer. Where is he? Where is he? I'm like, and Maurice's like, no, he gone already. So from there, Sabrina comes back from the back. She's already done the paperwork and reversed the charges. And I'm like, Sabrina, did you just break protocol because you said there need to be a police report? I mean, is this because you don't want Calvin to do anything against the bank because of the fact that he was assaulted, even though he was the one that began the physical abuse in the bank? I don't know. It's just weird, because I'm just like, this is a bank. All this shit's on camera. I'm pretty sure their higher up is going to ask questions about this. But then again, I also thought about it. Okay, I remember back in season 1, it's like, wait, it's only Maurice and Sabrina. Does anybody else work in the bank? And then in season 2, we met the superior to Sabrina. But then in season 3, I'm like, once in a blue moon, we might see a customer. But during all this hustle and bustle, you're telling me there wasn't a single customer in this damn bank? Okay, whatever. So anyway, Calvin's pissed off about it. And, Sabrina's like, look, I didn't have to do this for you. So he's just like, what, I'm done. So he up and leaves. And then I think Sabrina even asked Maurice, like, you know what you were doing? You like the drama? And then he goes on a spiel about, he basically sounds like me if I was being sarcastic. It's like, look, I need my rent. I told you the situation. You're the one caused all this. It was kind of funny. Sabrina just in a huff went back to her office. And my gosh, we're 23 minutes into this video. And I'm only through my first page of notes. Okay. So Andy visits her client, Victor. And, he's freaking out about the whole, she went to see her lawyer. She went to do this and that. She's going to leave me with nothing. And, Andy's like, hey, just be chill. Just don't come over here unannounced. Look, I've done everything I need to do on my end. Let me reassure you, it's all going to be good. Have a nice day. And Fatima comes up with the breakfast croissant and drink like he requested, and he ups and leaves like, hey, sorry, well, I was just leaving. And then she's pissed off. Look, I had to get a server to get this everything. Don't worry, I'll eat it. And then she notices Zack from a distance, and I'm like, oh my god. It's like, what's he doing here? And Fatima's shocked, and Andy's suspect about the whole, like, look, hey, I just want to let you know I have no idea why he's showing up. Because remember last week, or was it the week before last, Fatima's like, boss, don't worry, me and Zack ain't nothing going on there. So She goes to meet Zack. They're standing out front of the secretary's desk, and it's like, can we go someplace private? It's like, look, you haven't been answering my phone calls or anything. He's like, well, I didn't want to, Zack. So pretty much just to kind of sum up this scene here, which was good. I ain't gonna lie, Fatima filling out that dress very well. So in any case, Fatima's like, you know, she like, look, we didn't have anything. All you had was your ex. But Zack makes a pretty solid plea about the whole thing. Look, we had good chemistry. Let's not give that up. And it's the fact that you made me want to be better. You made me want to level up. You made me want to level up so I can show you your worth because you're special. So please let me know if I can come over tonight. Don't just say come over and shoot your shot, but let me know if you want me to come over. She says, I'll think about it. I'll let you know. Just don't pop up here unannounced again. He's like, okay, cool. So that was pretty good. So then we go back and Andy and Fatima are talking, and this is a part that kind of got me pissed off. So he's like, look, I'm not going to choose for my best friend. Like, look, boss, no, I don't know why he showed up here. It won't happen again. And Andy's like, look, I've always liked Zack. I just don't think he's good for Karen since, you know, I think she could do better. And that's all I got to say about it. And then they leave for the photo shoot. And I'm like, wait a minute. So basically, it's almost as if you're saying, all right, so my best friend Karen, Zack, I don't have a problem with him. I like Zack, but I think Karen can do better. Basically, Karen's too good for Zack because I know she can do better. But yeah, if you want him, then you can have him. That's kind of the vibe I got. It's almost as if, yeah, you know, Zack is too good for Karen, but maybe he's not too good for you. That's essentially what I thought I got from it. It sounded like, that's the one thing I hate when somebody says, you know what, I ain't going to say nothing else, but then they got to say some more shit that just pisses you off. Because it's like, you like Zack, but the thing is, you don't see the Zack that Fatima sees. Like, you're just like Karen. You're wanting to talk down about somebody, and I'm like, homewrecker, you got some flipping nerve. Fatima, I don't even want to say Fatima was messing around, but she was having a good time with Zack after he had already gotten dumped by Karen, whereas you were messing around with Gary knowing full well he was a married man. Remember back in season 1, they had been together for like 6 months. He kept saying I was going to leave my wife. So for about 6 months before episode 1, they were messing around. So Andy can get the hell off her high horse, even though I did like the scene where she got up and we kind of did a close-up of her putting on her jacket. I'm like, damn, KJ. Okay. So in any case, we go over to the apartment. Calvin's pissed off about the punch. Maurice is making jokes about it. You know, Maurice is like, yada, yada, yada. Who, daddy, you make me so excited when you're all mad like this. And Calvin's like, look, I ain't got to hear this. So basically, Maurice, for like the 20th time, even though I agree with Maurice every time he says it, even I'm getting sick of him saying it. Look, I'm tired of all this drama between you and Sabrina. I think it's time for you to move on because she's made her choice. And that's pretty much it. And to be honest, they could be done with it and I wouldn't care. So we go over to the next scene. And when I tell you KJ was filling out that wedding dress amazingly, whew, it's like the perfect fit. So the girls arrive and they learn that, hey, we need some more models here. $500 each if you do these bridesmaid dresses. And Danny can't, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. If I were, you know, hey, we need some groomsmen, $500. Got my size? Yo, let me change real quick. Yeah. So basically, $500 for the bridesmaid dresses. And it's kind of funny because Fatima's there already. You know, she's in awe, but then she kind of hesitant when the girls arrive because Karen's there. So the girls go to the back and nobody acts suspicious. Wait a minute. Wedding dress for Andy. Bridesmaid dresses for us. We were told to come and not tell Andy. And they just so happen to have our exact sizes. Okay, let's put them on. And, you know, bitter ass Karen, I'm just like, oh God. So she, you know, Fatima's like, yeah, so 2 left. What do you wear? 2, 3, what? 2 or 2.4 or whatever. How you know I'm a 2? Oh, I used to sell clothes in college. And yeah, I just want to say I'm sorry. Look, we ain't gotta go through this. And basically bitter as hell. So she walks off. So we go over to Zack. And he's meeting with the woman. I didn't catch her name, but I know that Senator Leslie Whitmill is her husband. Well, soon not to be because their long time coming divorce is on the way. And basically Zack goes over. I thought it was to the office, but it was a hotel room. And, you know, she hands him a drink. And, you know, he's suspect at first. But apparently, you know, he looked into he did his research before he went over there. And the company that she told him about was legit. And it's like, wait, 53-year-old woman. It's like, oh no, you don't look bad for 53. Oh well, thank you. And I'm like, Lord, Zack, please, look, you already messed up with Karen. They don't need to get involved with this older white woman. So, this information is insider trade info, and I'm thinking the whole time, this is some Martha Stewart shit right here. But Zack's like, look, I only got like $1,000 to put in there. Well, yeah, it'll turn to 10,000 like 48 hours, and she goes so far as say, look, I can give you 50,000 and you can turn it into 500,000 because when this divorce happens, there's a chance my husband's going to leave me with nothing. So I need what I can in order to secure the bag. I mean, she didn't say those exact words, but basically, at first I thought this was just an insider tip, and then Zack would be hesitant, but then he would put his money in there, the chain breaker money, then come out big. Because what? Okay, he gave, what was it, 7,000 to, or was it 5,000 to Karen, leaving him with 72. I don't know how much money he left with Fatima. I don't think it was established, but I'm just going to spitball here and say 2,000. That way it will be an even 70,000 left. And, Danny took his tip at work, so there's that. But let me just estimate, let's say he had 60,000 left. I know he didn't blow that much. I'm just throwing out a number. Let's say Zack had 60,000. 1,000 turned to 10, 50,000 turned into 500. It's easy. So he could turn like that 60,000 into 600,000 if he put it in the market. So essentially, when it comes down to it, this one was like, hey, here's 50,000. Open up a bunch of bank accounts and whatnot. I'm like, whoa. No. That's way too much going on there. I feel like that's even shadier business, especially if you're doing this for a woman who's about to be divorced from a senator. And then he'll probably, let's say this man takes all this money in the divorce and leaves her with nothing, but then keeps tabs on his ex-wife and discovers she has all this money. It will come back to Zack. I mean, and like Zack said, I'm about to get up out of here because, look, you've ever been to jail before? No, well, I have. And there are a lot of men in there, or a lot of people in jail who are behind bars because of situations like this, because they get involved in big setups. So he just like leaves the drink behind and gets the hell up out of there. So we go over to the final scene. And they're at the photo shoot. All the ladies look good. And I hate to sound like those, because I know women hate it when a guy just tells them, you should smile, it'll make your face look better. All the women look beautiful, but, Karen was just, I don't know if it was because of the Gary situation, the photo shoot, or the fact that she's in the same vicinity as Fatima. But, yeah, if she would have smiled a bit more, all the women look great. But then when the photographer's like, yeah, be sexy, put it all out there, and it's like, show some leg, I'm like, Lord, I don't know if I can handle that. Ooh, it was hot in there. But yeah, so Gary pops up and tells the groom in the photo, like, hey, I'll take it from here. And it's like, wait, what are you doing here? You're in the photo shoot. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, this isn't a photo shoot. This is my legit proposal. I want to marry you. And then all the girls like, what? And then the episode ends. So overall, this was a pretty good episode. It was definitely a massive improvement over last week. Yeah, there were some things that had me going meh, but for the most part, I think it had pretty good pacing. I'm excited to see what next week has in store, and the big question is whether or not Andy will accept. But I'll do a separate video about certain things like the bank scene, this wedding, if you will, because I'm like, so you don't want Andy to meet your son, yet you want to arrange a last-second wedding or a surprise wedding? What about her parents? What about your family? Sure, you got her friends there, but it's like, what was the plan here? Gary's told Andy not to tell her girls everything, yet he decides to go behind her back and then tell them to arrive for a surprise wedding. And then it's like, how protective these girls are of Andy, yet you don't expect anything to prevent them from stopping this wedding from happening. Okay, like I said, I'll do a separate video, but I overall enjoyed the episode. I'll probably watch it again. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.